Nation of Fit in 10, welcome to day 55. And if you have not booked your second last check-in with me, our next upcoming one starting tomorrow, please make sure you do. If you cannot make it this week, either tomorrow or Saturday morning, let me know and I will get you in. Even if you feel like you haven't made progress, if you're convinced you haven't made progress, if you've fallen off the wagon, it doesn't matter. This is part of the process and it's very important for you to stay in touch with me. Let's at least have a short conversation, just 5 or 10 minutes. And, we can push it further. It happens sometimes. But let's chat and let's see if we can get the ball rolling if it's not already rolling or if it's stalled. Okay, so today our sweet treat is dates. I personally am not a huge fan of dates, to be honest with you, but a lot of people do like them. They are super sweet. They are very high in fiber, very high in antioxidants, very high, super high in copper. They're also high in manganese, potassium, and magnesium as well. They are loaded with nutrients, and actually there's one way I would have these and they would be in a shake, which is actually why I have them. So they are very good in a shake, but you may just enjoy eating them on their own. And by the way, most people are copper deficient. And it is believed, I don't know if this is true or not, I've been looking into it a little bit, but it is believed, or there are some popular type researchers out there, or doctors that claim that lack of copper in the diet leads to graying of the hair or loss of hair, or both, I should say. So loss of hair and graying, which is interesting. So if that's true, you may want to incorporate a little more dates into your life. I actually take a collagen product. Collagen is really good for your skin. Depends on the type of collagen, but this collagen product's made for your skin. I take it, it's a powder, and in it is a very good dose of copper, and I take that daily. So maybe something you may want to think about. I carry it and I sell it, okay? And it tastes really good too. But if you want to get it from real whole food, which is really what I recommend beyond supplementation, because typically speaking, not always the case, but typically speaking, food sources of nutrients are going to be more bioavailable. Okay, they're going to be more absorbable, more readily accepted by your body. All right, let's get to more of the feedback. So yesterday we talked about resistance-based workouts benefit of full body exercise like squats and deadlifts versus machines. So one other thing I want to say about squats and deadlifts, or movements like squats and deadlifts, they really force a lot of overall bodily stimulation, okay? That just means that it's working a lot of your musculature, but it's also working the coordination of the muscles at the same time. So there's a lot of benefit, but there's also a lot of practice that really needs to go into this before we hit heavier weights, in my opinion. So again, this is something where you would want to have somebody with a trained eye. If you're not used to doing these movements, you want to have somebody with a trained eye watch you. Again, machines are really great if you want to just push and get results and gain some strength. So these are very good for people who are not familiar with weight training, who are new to weight training, elderly. It's very safe having machines. But ultimately, if you are younger, or not for that matter, even if you're older and you have somebody watching over you, I'd really recommend that you do things like squats and deadlifts. They're going to be very, very, in particular squats and deadlifts, both these movements are going to be very impactful on your metabolism, okay? Both short-term and long-term. Both these movements here, just because they're mentioned, again, squats and deadlifts, both of these movements are going to produce a lot of stimulation on the body in various ways, hormonally, muscularly, neurally speaking, and also other components of fitness, right? When it comes to balance and coordination of your muscles. And believe it or not, even stamina, especially when we start to do reps of, really hard reps of anything really over 6 with these types of movements, you really end up breathing super, super heavy. Okay. All right. So another part of this response, name something specific you can improve upon for the following week. Still eating less calories, trying to meet protein goal. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by less calories. Maybe less calories than what you're allotted. I'm not sure. Additional comments. Frustrated that I can't lose weight. Doubled up my cardio to 60 to 90 minutes per session. Resistance workouts continue. It doesn't make sense from a caloric in / caloric out standpoint. Yes, I would agree. So something is up here. And if I'm not mistaken, this person had made really good change body composition wise in the first 2 weeks and then sort of stalled out. The first thing I'm going to go to here, well, actually, before I go there, first, sometimes you think you haven't lost weight, but you have. So it depends on how you're judging this. So there could be a mistake here, and you may have lost some weight. More specifically, you may have lost fat, and perhaps your weight hasn't changed. More often than not, when people think they haven't lost weight in or in between 2 check-ins with me, it's more likely that they did, but they just, they're not seeing a 5 or 6 pound change on the scale. And also remember, when you weigh yourself, there's going to be fluctuations day to day. So, if you're randomly weighing yourself, and especially if you're not weighing yourself at the same time, if you're weighing yourself in the morning, but maybe you didn't sleep well, there's going to be some potential for your weight to be higher than what we might expect it to be. Okay. Now, putting all this aside, the number one thing here, if you've made progress and then your progress has slowed right down or stopped, we've got to look at the diet. So I want you to keep sending me your journals. And the most frustrating thing that I see with people is an inconsistency. So they can be very, very good with food choices for a couple days, and then there might be one day that's really, really off. So remember, we want that consistency, because this is where people can really get frustrated, in that they'll put the effort in, for several days in a row, and then they'll have one day where, for whatever reason, they were not as good as those other days. But when they think back to it, they think I was so good for so many days, it just doesn't make any sense. But there can be one day or 2 days, or maybe more, where it's taking you backwards. But one thing's for sure, there is something happening here. And the body is not metabolically, certainly when you lose weight, your metabolism will slow a little bit. We talked about this a couple videos ago. But certainly you're not going to have 2 weeks of great success and then all of a sudden, metabolically speaking, you're just going to shut down. This is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So something else is going on here. The first thing I would look at is food intake, because food intake is the only thing that is responsible. Food and drink are the only 2 things responsible for energy in. Okay? There's many things that can contribute to the energy out. It's possible to do more exercise, and then it's possible to do less NEAT. And so you might expend more energy through exercise now, but maybe your NEAT has gone down. There's all kinds of different things that can happen with your energy expenditure, but when it comes to food, okay, when it comes to calories in, there's only one thing, and that is consumption of food, okay, food and drink. So to this person, send me your food every single day, not some days. Send it to me every single day, and try to make sure that what you input in your journal accurately reflects what you're actually doing. Okay? And I don't say this, again, I'm talking, when I'm not directing this at this person. It's just in general for all of you. We can make a journal look as good as we want, or try to fit a certain way, but it may not accurately reflect what you're doing, right? So you want to make sure of that. Okay, 10 minutes. I got to get the rest of the day because it's just like way too long here. And you may believe, perhaps, that there are many things in this challenge that are just out of your control and you can't, you just don't have any control over it. But here are two things, okay, or maybe many things in your life that you believe you don't have control over. Here are two things that you do have control over that will make a big difference in your life in general, and that is your level of effort and your attitude. Your level of effort and your attitude. And this is something that certainly as a kid I could never appreciate. I always just thought it was, your level of intelligence that was going to get you where you needed to be in life. But ultimately, it really is about the level of effort and probably most importantly, our attitude, right? I think a lot of us can relate to this. It is your effort and your attitude that is going to make the difference in your life, whatever you're working towards. Okay, or not working towards, just in general, just living. Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.